I'm pleased to present this informational update on the San Diego Countywide Gun Relinquishment Task Force. The task force is a partnership between my office, the San Diego Superior Court, the San Diego Police Department, and a broad coalition of local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies in San Diego County. I'm joined here this morning by Assistant City Attorney Jean Jordan, Chief of Policy and Engagement Chris Olson, and Senior City Attorney Investigator Pete Darvis, who are leading this project and will be available to answer any questions. The task force is funded by a $2 million grant to the San Diego Superior Court from the Judicial Council of California. The City Attorney's Office is the court's lead law enforcement partner and is leading the effort to implement the task force. The task force builds on my office's existing partnership with the San Diego Police Department's Gun Violence Reduction Unit. The task force is charged with creating a county-wide system to promote public safety by ensuring compliance with firearm prohibiting court orders. Its work includes providing training and guidance on gun prohibiting orders for partner agencies, investigating failure to relinquish cases referred by the court to the task force, conducting threat assessments, and performing operations with law enforcement partners to ensure compliance with court orders. My office obtained the city's first gun violence restraining order in 2017, and we've made gun violence prevention an office priority. We could not do our work without SDPD and the courts, who've been partners in our efforts since day one. Since 2018, the state of California has provided my office with funding to train law enforcement agencies throughout the state about GVROs and other gun prohibiting court orders. Other municipalities have embraced our approach because they attended our training. For instance, National City, Chula Vista, and Carlsbad are all using GVROs to prevent gun violence in their cities. We'll never know how many lives we've saved, but we do have solid evidence that indicates that GVROs we obtained prevented more than 24 mass shootings where the suspect showed clear intent to create a mass casualty event. After orders were issued in those cases, no mass shootings, suicides, or homicides occurred. We've intervened to prevent school shootings, workplace violence, intimate partner homicide, and suicides. California's gun violence prevention laws work. The California Attorney General found that more than 140,000 Americans would still be alive today if the rest of the nation had cut gun death rates as low as California's over the past decade. We're now taking the next logical step in the process. Using state funds, we've created a regional task force to ensure that people who are prohibited by a court order from possessing firearms actually relinquish their firearms. Without compliance, a court order is just a piece of paper. The task force is comprised of government agencies from across San Diego County who are working together to ensure that prohibited persons know how to relinquish their guns, have opportunities to comply with gun prohibiting orders, and in cases where relinquishment does not occur, that law enforcement is notified and works together in a coordinated, documented way to go out and remove guns from people who our justice system has determined are at risk to themselves or to others. The task force gets involved when the respondent does not submit proof to the court that they relinquished their guns. Upon receiving notice of noncompliance from the court, the task force reviews the case, conducts threat assessments, and puts together multi-agency teams to seek compliance, and if necessary, to remove the guns from the people whom our justice system has determined are a risk to themselves or others. Here's what comprehensive court-ordered firearm relinquishment looks like when it's in practice. A firearm and ammunition prohibiting order is obtained. The courts and law enforcement tell the prohibited person how to comply with the order. The prohibited person voluntarily relinquishes the firearms when the gun prohibiting order is issued. If the respondent does not relinquish the firearms, law enforcement takes the firearms from the prohibited person when serving the order. And there is follow-up and consequences when someone does not comply with an order. The task force had its first meeting in July of 2024, and it's grown to include 22 law enforcement agencies that are listed on your slide. And we're still building that task force. Next slide. So what does success look like? Increase compliance with gun prohibiting orders when the order is served. This can be achieved with countywide law enforcement training and coordination and providing comprehensive information to respondents so they know how to comply. And when relinquishment doesn't occur, meaning that the order is violated, we'd have coordinated follow-up. Notices of noncompliance from the court to law enforcement would be consistent, and the guns would be removed from the people who our justice system has determined are risks to themselves or someone else. So this task force is currently building its infrastructure by mapping each member's agency's internal procedures. We'll compare our processes to ensure that we're operating consistently. And the task force will submit quarterly reports to the court and the Judicial Council, who will use this information to track outcomes and public safety improvements. So we are on track to start relinquishment operations by the end of the year. We thank you for your attention, and we are available to answer any questions you may have.